Hello. Can you can you confirm?
Hi, Dr. Jessri, we can hear you.
Okay, because there are can you please
Ma'am, there is some distortion in your voice. I guess there is some internet issue. Can you please check?
how about now?
Yeah, it's much better.
Now?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
This
So, Dr. Jessri, we are going to first share the overview of our MRCOG 1 courses to all the students who have joined us. And then after sharing the overview of the course, then we can start with the webinar. Is it fine for you? So a very warm welcome to all the students who have joined us for MRCOG 1. So in this session, first of all, we are going to share you about what is MRCOG 1 course, what features we are offering, what is included in the course, so that you have an idea what we are offering you. And that can be solution to your success for MRCOG 1. So let's get started. So why to choose Melism Expert? Because you see, we have started the MRCOG 1 journey 7 years back, and we have been providing a lot of students who have joined us for the MRCOG 1, the course, and to ace their exam, they have trusted Melism Expert, and we have tried our best to give the best services that we can offer to all the students out there. So we have the top-notch guidance courses that can help you in your preparation phase, and we conduct like live sessions, question banks, mock exams, everything that you need for your best preparation. And also in every batch of course we have 400 plus students that join us, that trust us, and we have the 98% success rate. And all the students that join us for the MRCOG 1 preparation, they usually clear the exam with the you have seen our top scorers, you have seen the students who have joined us and trusted Melism Expert, and they have proven to be successful in their field. So now let's discuss about what we are offering in the MRCOG 1 course. So basically in the course, we have divided the full preparation in 3 phases. So before that, let's move to the mentor slide. Like all the amazing mentors that we are having in our MRCOG 1 course, we have Dr. Jazri, we have Dr. Muhammad Helmi, all the experienced faculty that can guide you in your MRCOG 1 journey. So these are from our students who have joined the courses, and these are
Hello, my dear fellow doctors and colleagues. Today I'm here to share my MRCOG partner journey with you all guys. So I cleared my MBBS in 2000. After that, now I think 23 years have passed, and I have thought about it, doing it so many times. But I gave my exam some 10 years back, and that time I just, without preparing, I just gave it and I failed. And after that, so many years down the line, I didn't have any interest in studies. Like I tried and I would try to study, but I could not hold my interest. So I never was consistent with my studies. So one day I was just going through the internet and I came across MedExpert advertisement. So I thought, why not just apply it? And I just applied it, and that was the game changer for me, which I had lost my interest in studies again back. So each and individual mentors were like, the classes were so interesting and they were so glowing. The professionalism was class apart. So I could hold on to my classes, and I always used to solve the questions, and it became a routine. So they used to push us so much, like every day they will send you questions and they will send you classes and there are exams. So repeatedly we were doing, and I wrote my exam on this June, and I cleared at first shot with 75%, and I gave whole my credit to first God Almighty, without whom it is never possible to pass any exam, and then it is all MedExpert. I would definitely advise all you people who wants to do their MRCOG journey, just try MedExpert, and I'm sure you will not regret it. Their classes are very, very nice and very interesting. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for all your time.
So this was our lovely student, Dr. Anuradha, who has shared their review about the course that they have joined us for the MRCOG 1 from Oman. So now let's discuss about what we are offering in the regular course. So we have basically divided the regular course in 3 phases. So in the phase 1, when you will join the course, we are going to give you the pre-course phase, in which you're going to get some recorded sessions along with the PDFs and some quizzes that will really help you to start your MRCOG 1 journey. So in the pre-course phase, we are going to provide you a proper schedule in which we are going to mention like on which day what you have to do. Okay, like we are going to share the study schedule with you, how you can start your preparation, which topic you have to cover first, like that. Everything will be mentioned in the schedule. And with the schedule, we are going to provide you the access to the recorded lectures along with the PDFs, and you will be added into the study group where our moderator will be there, and he or she is going to conduct the activities for you on daily basis to keep yourself motivated, because we really understand motivation is the main thing. Okay, you have to keep yourself always motivated to study, to start your preparation, to do your best. So our moderator is going to do that part for all of you. And then we're going to provide you some mini quizzes just to assess whatever you are studying and it's best or not. Then in the phase 2, we are going to conduct some live sessions for all the important topics that are important for the MRCOG 1 preparation. Along with that, we're going to share the schedule with you so that before the live sessions, you know when there is a live session. And on the very next day, we are going to provide you the recording of the live session and the PDF both. So in case you miss any live session, you will get the recording of that session. And then with every live session, we are going to provide you a special topic test that you have to perform on the website with proper scoring, with proper explanations, with proper correct answers. So you can, focus on your test as well. And then we will be having a biostatistics workshop with Dr. Tesri. She is going to make biostatistics very fun and very easy for all of you. And then in the end, we're going to have some mock exams that will really help you to assess your preparation before your real exam. Then in the phase 3, we will be having the revision phase. And what we're going to do in that, so all the things that you have studied in the pre-course and the live session phase, all the things will be revised in this revision phase. So in the revision phase, we're going to revise all the concepts that we have already delivered in the live session phase, and we're going to revise all the things before your exam so that everything should be well prepared. And with this study plan, we can guarantee this thing, you can ace your exam in one go. So these are the reviews from our amazing students who have joined us for the MRCOG 1 course, and we had a success rate of 96 to 98%, which is a great percentage. And let's visit our free library, because all the students who don't join the courses, we do provide them some free stuff so that you can see what kind of courses we are offering for MRCOG 1. So to visit the free library, what you need to do is just visit the application of MedExamExpert or the website of MedExamExpert, and you have to subscribe the MRCOG 1 free library that is absolutely free for all the students out there who want to practice some quizzes, who want to check some demo sessions. Everything is provided over there. So it will really help you to have a sense of MRCOG 1. And also, there's a special gift for all the students who have joined us for today. We are offering 40% off for 24 hours only. But it is a limited time offer, but you can avail this offer with 40% off. If you want any details regarding the discount, regarding the courses or course manager, Fatma is also here. You can just message us anytime, and we are going to provide you the best services that we can offer. So this was all from my side. Dr. Tesri, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Dr. Tesri. Hope you're doing great.
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
So, yeah, that's great. So let's get started with the webinar.
Okay. You have any questions, guys? You have any questions about the course? Okay, let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Dr. Desri, your screen is visible. You
And
can
I'm
switch to full
audible?
screen. Yeah, your voice is great.
Okay. Okay, guys, I'm Dr. Desiree. For now, I'm opening my video so that every one of you can see me. But when I start the genetic code, I will be closing my video so that you can concentrate on the webinar. Okay, so we have two webinars. One is how will you crack MRCOG1 in 5 months. The exam is scheduled on the 21st of January, right? So on August 21st, it will be exactly 5 months before the exam. So how will you able to pass it in first attempt? So Asma have already mentioned to you the courses that we are offering. Now I'm telling you how to pass it, okay? So you are here in this webinar because either you have already decided to take the MRCOG exam or you are still not yet decided, or probably you have tried in first attempt and was not able to make it. So either way, we are here to help you pass or gain better scores, okay? So most of you should have known the syllabus of the MRCOG1 exam. You should have visited the MRCOG website. That's mandatory for you to visit it because everything is there. Okay, how the timings when you should pass your eligibility, when you should submit your the closing and opening dates. It's all there, and the booking for the exam. So you should always visit that website. The syllabus is also there. It was a very extensive syllabus. However, we also have posted in our public group, MRCOG1, the syllabus that you have to cover. So you go to MRCOG1 in the Facebook group and then type syllabus, and then you will see there the post of our admin, Dr. Mohammed Helmi. And it's written there very detailed what you do, what are the sources. Because if you visit the RCOG website, it's overwhelming. Okay, they put there all the books that you need to read. For example, for anatomy, for physiology, you have to read Ganong. They suggest you read Ganong. And you have to study Harper's Biochemistry, remember, during our med school. So, but we will not cover that. You don't have to cover all those books because we prepare for you a course that is very smart, okay? We summarized everything. So how do you prepare for the MRCOG exam? So 5 months before the exam, which is exactly today or after a few days, you have to know the exam syllabus, which, as I've mentioned, you should visit the RCOG website or the MRCOG1 guide group, okay? So this is very, very far away from the exam. You still have a lot of time before the exam. So you have to do the first reading. This means relaxed reading, okay? No pressures. And reading while taking notes. Okay, and then you should organize your notes into folders for easier revision. There are 12 subjects. The folders here shows only, I can see here 10. Please close your microphone. Okay, so you can see here 10 because here it's not included genetics and pharmacology. So there are actually 12, okay, 12 subjects. So that is 5 months after the exam. Before the exam, okay? So relax reading, read, and then the main source is your Oxford and your essential revision. If you want to read more, no problem. So you have to do this in 2 months' time. So this 5 months before the exam, if you compare it with our regular premium course, this is already the start of your live session. Okay, we started already the live session yesterday, physiology. Those of you who enrolled in our courses, you already attended yesterday's lecture, physiology. Okay, so this is the start of the live session, and the live session runs for 4 months. Okay, so 3 months before the exam, what you will do? You have to have a concrete study schedule. Actually, this is the ideal time to study. I personally passed my MRCOG 1 3 months. I studied 3 months before the exam. But how did I do it? 3 months, if you will analyze, 3 months is very, very short, right? To cover all those extensive syllabus. But how did I do it? I'm proud to say that I'm also a graduate of MedExam Expert, a batch of September 2017, and I passed it on the same batch, okay, 2017. Because we provide concrete study schedule. Because if you will do this on your own, you will be overwhelmed. You will be confused where to start, how will you do it? But with the guidance of the mentors and the moderators, we provide you everything so that you will just do is to follow. Okay, so concrete study schedule, a more focused second reading. So the first reading 5 months before. So 3 months you have to have second reading while updating your notes and thinning your notes. When you say thinning your notes, those that are not important, you have to delete it. So you have to make a more concise notes and practice SBAs by doing mock exams in SBA books like Andrew Sizer, Catherine, okay, Ankush Rao. So we will be, for those who are enrolled, we already provided the PDF forms of these books. So when I say smart study schedule, this is the live study, live session phase of our course, which as I've mentioned, we already start yesterday, August, physiology. And you will notice this, there's a 1 week interval before the next subject in the endocrinology. So what are you doing in between those schedule? So do you think that we will only leave you behind? No, because you will be having a mini course, a mini schedule. So live session yesterday. So you will be doing topics by topics every day. So we don't give you rest time. So every day you will be studying these topics in the study group. Yes. Anyone wanted to ask a question?
Okay.
Hello? Dr. Saira? Okay, let me continue. So in between those schedule, physiology and endocrinology, that week, you will be doing something every day. Okay, you have to read this, and the moderator in the study group will be guiding you, and she will be sharing questions regarding cardiovascular, regarding respiratory, topic-wise day to day. And then 2 days before the next subject, you will be having a topic test, and 1 day before the next subject, you will be having a topic test discussion. All your confusion, why this is the answer, you can ask your mentor. Okay? Let me go onto the chat box. Dr. Saira, you can ask the course fee to Fatima. Can you send a message to Dr. Saira? She's asking about the course fees. Okay, so this is your mini schedule. So 1 month before the exam, okay, you have to close your books. You only have to read your notes. This is the revision phase. It is not advisable for you to read those thick books. No, it will just waste your time. So what you have to do is you have to read your notes that you did 5 months before and 3 months before, because you only have to revision, okay, review. And during those times, if you're enrolled in our course, this is the time that we discuss all the recalls or previous exam questions from 2015 until 2024 of July. And you have to practice more SBAs on your own and do final mock exams. Okay? So this is how you study smartly in 5 months' time. Yes? Hello? Dr. Diumi? Okay, do you have questions before we go to the webinar? Any questions, guys? Because I know this topic is very, very confusing for all of you, but actually the technique in pedigree analysis is very, very easy. Okay, so no questions. So let me just wait. Okay, I'll have to close my video so that you can concentrate on my screen and not on my face. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so I will be your mentor for genetics, microbiology, and biostatistics. Everyone is actually worried about if we should self-study from books as side by side or not. Okay, Dr. Gosha. So let me answer your question. Actually, as I've mentioned, the exam syllabus is very, very extensive. However, if you have been a graduate for a long time ago, like the what have our student have mentioned in the video, it's better that you start studying, reading relaxed by the book. Okay? I'm not saying that you don't need to read books. I'm not saying that we are providing you everything. Okay? But actually, those students who have never touched anything enrolled in our courses was able to pass the exam because they are strictly following our schedule. Okay. I'm not saying that these books are not important, but these books are very thick. For example, Ganong Physiology, Harper's Biochemistry, Snell's Anatomy. You know, all these books are very, very thick. And all the contents of these books you don't need. You only need the basics that is related to your practice, to OB-GYN. And that is what the mentors did for you. We summarize all the important things that is needed in the exam, not everything in the book. Okay, so what you will do if you wanted to read the book, for example, you enrolled in our courses, we provided you the live session, which is already extensive. So the PDF is already extensive. If you think that it's still lacking, then you can read side by side. For example, a topic in physiology, renal physiology. Dr. Helmi already provided everything about renal physiology. So if you think you still need to know or you need to verify some answers, then that's the time that you have to open the big books. Okay, but if you read all these books, you will not finish in 5 months. I tell you, even in 3 months. So I've mentioned to you, I'm a student of MedExam Expert. I did not touch any big book. I only read Essential Revision Guide and Oxford Revision Notes and all the PDFs of the mentors and the live session. There was many questions in the second part of the last exam, which I have never seen in the course lectures. Can you tell me what are those questions? Have you remembered, Dr. HP? Can you give one example, for example, one example in any subjects? You don't remember. Okay. So I am not sure what are you saying that you have never seen in the course lectures or the questions, because as far as I know, we patterned our lectures in the previous exam. So we always review the previous exam questions and we update our lectures before giving it to the next batch. Okay, so of course, you know that the exam is not 100% recall. So the Royal College is not idiots, okay? They are not dumb. So they know that a lot, you know that a lot are conducting courses, okay? Not only MedExam. So they know that a lot of organizations are conducting courses. Kindly close your microphone. A lot of organizations are conducting courses, and so they know that somebody maybe probably, even if they are strict they ask you to sign waiver before the exam that you should not release any questions in the exam, but there are still ways wherein how this organization can get the questions. So probably 10% only of the new exam, because it's very, very difficult to do an exam. So 10% of the new exam are changed. Okay, so they are twisted, or maybe they revise the questions. That's why maybe you think that it did not come out from the lectures or any other sources, because they rephrase or they twist the questions. Okay, but we always do our best to give everything. That's why we have a 98% passing percentage, and the numbers doesn't lie. Okay, I myself as I've mentioned, is a product of MedExam Expert, and I have learned from the mentors. And I did not touch any books. I only followed the PDFs of the mentors and the live sessions and the discussion in the study group. And that's enough for me to pass the exam. I am not aiming for high marks, but I passed the exam in one go. You're welcome. Okay, so now let's go to unlocking the genetic code, or the technique in pedigree analysis. So you know that So this is the chromosome structure. You know, in the somatic cell, inside the nucleus, there are chromosomes. And inside the chromosomes, there are DNAs. And the DNAs are coiled. You see the parts of the chromosome. We will not discuss it today because it is not the topic of our webinar. So these are proteins. They are coiled within the histones. The histones are the proteins in which the DNA is coiled. Okay. So, and you can see here the DNA, they are base pairs. You can see nitrogenous base, okay? They are purines and pyrimidines. We will not discuss this in this webinar because our concern is how to analyze the pedigree. So you will be concentrating on the chromosome. So for you to analyze the pedigree, you have to know the terms, okay? So you have to know what is the meaning of a genotype and what is the meaning of a phenotype. So in simplest terms, the genotype is the genes that you inherit from your parents. Okay, 50% from your mom and 50% from your dad. Okay, and whatever these genes that you inherit, the expression of these genes into your characteristics, the one that you can see is what we call a phenotype. Okay, the genotype is inside your body, the one you cannot see. And the expression of these genes is what we call the phenotype. Okay, so that's the difference. So how many pairs of human chromosomes does we have? You can write in the chat box. If you know, this is just a review. How many pairs of human chromosomes? Make your fingers work. Okay, 23, Dr. HP and Dr. Sakina, very good. So 23 pairs. So how many pairs are autosomes and how many are sex chromosomes? You can write, Dr. Aisha, very good, Dr. MJ. Okay, Dr. MJ, 22 autosomes and 1 sex chromosome. That's what makes it 23 pairs. So that means you have in your body 46 chromosomes in total. Okay, so what is the difference between dominant and recessive? So when you say dominant, this is the one that is expressed, okay? Wait. So for example, the height, tall, which will represent by T, this is dominant for the height, and short will represent. Hello. Please mute your microphones. Mute your microphones. Thank you. Okay. So when you say dominant, this is expressed. Okay. Even if one pair of gene is available, this is immediately expressed. When recessive, when you say recessive, you need 2 pairs of genes in order for it to be expressed. So for example, for the height, tall is dominant over the short, okay? So tall will represent with the big capital T and short with the small letter t. So that's what is the difference between dominant and recessive. And when you say heterozygous, what is heterozygous or homozygous? When you say homozygous for the genes, that means homozygous tall or homozygous short. And when you say heterozygous, she have 1 copy of the dominant and 1 copy of the recessive, or the other way around. Okay? So this is what you mean by homozygous and heterozygous. Okay? So these are the terms that is important for you to know. So let's go to the patterns of inheritance. So you have to know the basics. Okay? So when I write here square, what does it mean? The empty square, is it a male or a female? Male, very good. Yes, hetero different. Okay. So when I write here circle, what does it mean? Female, very good. So when I write, hello, please, guys, turn off your microphones. So a square that is blocked, what this means? What does it mean? Deceased. Very good, Dr. MJ. This is deceased male. And when you put a circle that is blocked, this is female, right? And if I connect them, what does it mean? They are married. Very good, Dr. HP, Mary. And if I make two connections, what does it mean? Write in the chat box, two connections. This is what you call consanguineous marriage. Not cousin, consanguineous. That means you married within the family. Okay, cousin marriage, no problem. Okay, so when I put like this, what does it mean? These are the sibling, the children, right? Very good. So you can put circle. Let's make it 4. So these are the basics that you should know. Okay. And when I put another one here, so it's married. Very good. So this is, so you can see here, first generation, second generation, and the third generation. This is important because you have to see, you have to check if there are skip generation. What if I write something? You can see pedigree like this. What does it mean? Some pedigrees you will see like this, carrier, very good. So this means this is a carrier. Okay. Sometimes they don't put like this, even if it is a carrier. So very good. So you all know your basics. So now let's analyze this. When you encounter a pedigree, okay, you first have to check if both sexes are affected. Okay. So this is the first generation, this is the second generation, and this is the third generation. Okay, you can see here that this is affected, this is affected. So these are their children. This is affected, and this is affected. Okay, so tell me, is there a skip generation? First question. Question number 1. Are both male and female affected? Equally affected? Okay, very good, Dr. Asma. So are they equally affected? Both male and female manifest the disease. So check. Is there skip generation? Okay, very good, Dr. MJ. There is no skip generation. Okay, you cannot say that this is a skip generation. Remember, when you say a skip generation, the parents are affected and then the children are not. So this third generation, they are not skip generation because their parents are not affected. So this is what type of inheritance? Equally affected, no skip generation. This is what? This is autosomal dominant, not recessive, Dr. HP. Yes, very good, Dr. Aishani. Dr. HP, this is not recessive because there's no skip generation. These are the rules, okay? Males and females are equally affected to have the trait. There is male-to-male transmission. Traits do not skip generation, okay? If parents don't have the trait, their children should not have the trait. So you see, if parents don't have the trait, the children doesn't have the trait, okay? If the trait is present whenever the corresponding gene is present, okay? So the trait is present whenever the corresponding gene is present. If both parents possess the trait, but it is absent in any of the offspring, this is important. So you can see both of the parents are affected and it is absent in offspring number 7. So that means this is heterozygous, okay? Because if it is homozygous, everyone will be affected. You get it? So that means if one of the children is unaffected and both parents are affected, so this is a heterozygous autosomal dominant trait. Okay. Homozygous for the dominant condition have a more severe form of the condition. So these are the examples. Okay, by the way, you in the exam, you have to memorize all the diseases that is inherited: autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, okay, X-linked recessive, X-linked dominant. These are just few examples, but in the course, we will be providing you a list that you have to memorize. Okay, you're welcome, Dr. HP. Skip generation, Dr. Salma, that means the children doesn't have when the parents does have it, okay? So for example, this parent, this one got married, okay, one of the parent has and the children doesn't have it, so that means this is a skip generation. They did not possess the trait or did not carry or did not, they are not diseased, okay? This one, you cannot call skip generation because both parents are not diseased, okay? Do you understand it, Dr. Salma? The parents has it and the children doesn't have it, then that is a skip generation, okay? But if the parent doesn't have it and the children doesn't have it, this is normal, so that is not a skip generation. Okay, so you will see it in the recessive trait. Okay, so remember the genes act in pairs. They are one from each parent. Okay, so this one. So before you analyze it, just look. Okay, answer question number 1. Equally affected, both male and females. Male, female, male, 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 female, okay. When you say equal, do you mean 2 males and 2 females? Do you mean like that? Or when you say equally affected, that means male and female are both affected. So I should not use the term equally, no? Male and female both affected. So now what is your answer? Yes. Okay. A while ago, everyone says no because you count this 1, 2, 3, 4. You count 4 males and you count 5 females, and you see that they are not equal because these are 4 and 4. So you cannot say that, because you cannot predict how many children a parent can have. Okay. So you cannot say, I can have 3 children. You can have that other parent have 4 children. So you cannot say literally equal. No, this is not literal. When we say in genetics equally affected, that means male and female are both affected. No, don't take it literally. Okay? So they are equally affected. Both male and female are both affected. Okay. Can you see skip generation? Remember, when you say skip generation, the children doesn't have it when the parents have it. Dr. MJ, look again. Look again, guys. Okay, this parent has it. The father have it. Okay, the children doesn't have it. Okay, you look until here only. The children doesn't have it. So this second generation is a skip generation. Remember? Okay, this is a skip. The parents has it. The children doesn't have it. Right? 6, 7, 8. Very good. So this is a skip generation. Okay, and then this number 6 individual married number 5 who is deceased, so they have the disease. Okay, this parent number 8 and 9, they are not deceased, but they produce a children who has a disease. So they are also skip generation from their 3, and they produce an offspring which has a disease. So this is a skip generation. So what type of inheritance is this? Recessive, very good. So autosomal recessive, okay? So a while ago is autosomal dominant. This is autosomal recessive. Very good, Dr. Einstein. Okay, so remember, you only have to answer these 2 questions. Check if both male and female are affected, and check for skip generation. So that's as easy as that for autosomal inheritance. It is more difficult for X-linked and X-linked dominant, okay? But you can go by, okay? So remember, they have the same chance of expressing the genes, you see, equally affected. You can only express the trait if you are homozygous. So remember, this is one rule, okay? So that means if you are homozygous, you express the genes. Wait. Oh, wait, okay? My phone, my pen is... Okay, So as I mentioned to you, for recessive, you need 2 copies of the trait. Okay. So of course, if you are homozygous, okay, or like this, you can express the trait. Okay, but if you're heterozygous, you have to have 1 copy from the parent. Okay, you have either the parent is heterozygous and she married another heterozygous. These are carriers. So when you say recessive, these are hidden. Okay, hidden traits. They will be only expressed once you have 2 copies of the genes. Okay, and they can skip generation. So these are the examples of your autosomal recessive inheritance. The most common example, of course, there are a long list, but these are the most common that you have to know: cystic fibrosis, phenylketonuria, sickle cell anemia, Tay Sachs disease, and Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so remember, same chance of expressing. They can skip generation. How about this one? What type of inheritance is this? So check number 1, question number 1. Although it doesn't apply here. Question number 1, male and female equally affected? Yes, okay, yeah. Very good. Okay. Who is affected? The mother or the father? The mother. And have you noticed that all the children with an affected mother is deceased? Okay. This is the affected mother. And all the children has the disease. This is an affected mother. All the children has the disease. All the children has the disease. Okay, so this is what you call mitochondrial inheritance. No, Dr. Aishani. Okay, so this is one technique. Okay, remember, check in mitochondrial. You remember that mitochondrial, we only get it from you say, when they say that you are intelligent, you got it from your mother, right? Because this is a mitochondrial inheritance, okay? Because the intelligence is from the mitochondria. So they have a saying, you can see that you get your feature from your father, but your intelligence from your mother. I'm so sorry for the guys out here, okay? But this is true, and it is already proven by science. So this is mitochondrial inheritance, okay? So remember, answer the first 2 questions and also check if only mother has the disease and all the offspring is diseased, then this is mitochondrial inheritance. How about the second pedigree? You can see here, the mother is diseased, all the children are diseased, okay? But here, you can see here, the father is diseased, but it doesn't pass to the children, okay? So all the children are diseased, although this doesn't come out in the exam. This one comes out in the exam. This one is more complicated, but I wanted to explain to you why, even if the mother is diseased, this individual 28 and 30, why though they don't have the disease? It is not because of mutation, but in our body, we have too many mitochondria, right? Probably they did not get the diseased mitochondria from their mother. That's why. So they are not diseased. But forget about this, because when the exam question comes out, it is always like this. You will always see mother, all the children are diseased. This is mitochondrial inheritance. Okay. I just wanted to show you for comparison. Okay. So conditions caused by mutation in the mitochondrial DNA of the mother. They have unusual patterns, just like the second pedigree. Both males and females are affected. The condition is transmitted through the female to her offspring. And when the male has the trait and his spouse doesn't, the offspring will not have it. Okay? So let's go back. If the male has the trait and the wife doesn't have it, the offspring will not have it. So because mitochondrial inheritance is from the mother, so it's only the mother that transmits it. Okay? I hope this is clear. So one famous example is your Leigh syndrome. Okay, so this one, what type of inheritance? Question number 1. Are they equally affected? Both male and female? Yes. they are equally affected, but more males are affected than females, right? Okay. Is there a skip generation? Is there a skip generation? Where's the skip generation? Okay, Dr. Rashmia, very good. No skip generation. Ten, 11, 12, because they have, you see here, this one. Okay, so let me explain Dr. Amtias Ahmad. Okay, so this one, why is it that they produce an offspring with the disease? That means these are both carriers, right? They are carriers. So that's why they have a patient with the disease. Okay. So what did we say when you have one copy of the genes and it is transmitted to the offspring, that means dominant, right? And recessive is only expressed when you have two copies of the genes, right? So you can see here, the parents are not diseased and there's an offspring. So this is actually the clue, Dr. Ahmad. This is actually the clue that this is a recessive inheritance. Okay, because the genes are only expressed when both parents are carriers. Okay, so when the one parent has it, okay, it is expressed in 50%, okay, of the offspring. And when both individuals are deceased, all of the offspring are deceased, okay? So this is what we call X-linked inheritance disease. So this is the most difficult type of inheritance because there are rules, which I will tell you in the next slide, okay? The trait is more common in males than in females, okay? If the mother has the trait, all of her sons should also have it. So you can see here, the mother has the trait, all the sons has it, okay? The daughters doesn't have it. Why? Because the mother has 2X, the sons only have 1X. So the disease X is always passed to the sons, okay? And they don't pass all the X to the daughters. The daughters are only carriers, okay? Because the daughters have 2 copies of the X. So that is not manifested unless the daughter got married to one who is also a carrier. Okay? So if the mother is deceased, that's one rule. She always passes it to her sons. Okay? So if the mother has the trait, all of her sons should also have it. There is no male-to-male transmission. So let's go back. So this one, no male-to-male transmission. Okay, this one probably is not deceased. Okay. Okay, Dr. Sama. So there's no male-to-male transmission. So we cannot see it here clearly, but we can see it in the dominant before, okay, later on. There's no male-to-male transmission. It is the same pattern of inheritance as autosomal recessive. Okay, so you can compare it with autosomal recessive. If the son of a female carrier has 50% chance of having the trait, yes, the son of a female carrier has a 50% chance because, why? Because she has 1X. Probably she'll get the disease or probably she get the normal X. So she has 50% chance of having the trait. If she get the diseased X, then she will be deceased because she only have 1X, XY. But if she got this is what it means, like 50% chance of having the trait. Okay, you can get either the normal or the diseased X. Okay. Mothers of males who have the trait are either heterozygous carriers or homozygous, and they express the trait, okay? Mother of males who have the trait, so these are the males, so mother could either be homozygous or heterozygous, okay? So this one, the mother is, probably they are homozygous because all the children have the trait. This one probably heterozygous because some are only carriers, right? And this one is heterozygous for sure because the other children doesn't have it. Okay, so examples are hemophilia and muscular dystrophy and Fragile X. So what is important is you have to remember that the father passes the X chromosomes only to his daughter. and the Y chromosome to his sons. Okay, because that's the only genes that she has, one X. So, Dr. Sima, close your microphone, please. Okay. So the genes act in pairs, one from each parent for the females. Okay. For this mode of inheritance, the males got the gene from their mother. And this is what is important for the X-linked. I told you this is the most difficult pattern of inheritance. Okay. In an X-linked, you have to remember this. In an X-linked disorder, the X from the father, they only give it to the daughter because they only have one X. Okay. That's why they said the fathers love their daughters more. Okay. The X from the mother goes to both the son and the daughter. So the X can be passed to the son and the X can be passed to the daughter. If the X is passed to the son, then the son will be deceased because he only has one X. If the X is passed to the daughter, then the daughter is carrier because she has two copies of the X genes, right? Okay. The father to daughter transmission in X-linked, the daughter will be carrier only. Okay. And the father to daughter transmission of disease means the dominant, the X is dominant, the disease is X dominant. Okay, the same principle because the presence of two X. So if the father passed the X, disease X to the daughter will be carrier because the daughter has two copies of the X. Okay, if the father to daughter transmission, if the father transmitted to the daughter the disease X and the disease manifested, that means it is X dominant, not recessive. Okay. Father to son transmission is only seen in Y-linked. Okay. Okay. So let's go to this type of inheritance. Any questions on X-linked? So recessive, remember when you say recessive, you need two copies of the genes. And you have to remember that the copies of the genes come from both mother and the daughter. So you have to analyze what genes the mother passes to the son, and the genes the mother passes to the daughter, and the genes the father passes to the daughter and the son. Okay, so this is the mother is affected, the father is not. Okay, both the children has it. Okay, here you can see this is the clue. Okay, the father is deceased, and it was transmitted to the daughter, but not to the son. So what is this type of inheritance? Remember, I mentioned to you, if the father to daughter transmission is manifested, that means the disease is X-linked dominant. Okay? Because you need two copies of the genes for X-linked recessive. So this one, the father only has it, the mother doesn't have it. Why the daughter have it? And the daughter has 2X, right? So if the daughter manifests it, that means this is dominant. Okay, so this is your X-linked dominant transmission. Okay, so probably this mother is heterozygous. Okay, that's why only 50% is transmitted to the offspring and the 50% doesn't have it. So probably this one is a carrier, or probably she's homozygous negative for the disease. Okay. Why? Why did I say she is homozygous negative for the disease? Probably because the X comes from the father and it was manifested. So this is dominant inheritance. Okay. So some patterns that can be noticed are all daughters of a male who has the trait will also have the trait. So this is one rule. All daughters of the male who has the trait. So you can see, you check if the father has the trait and the daughter has the trait and the sons doesn't have it. So that will be X-linked dominant. Okay. There is no male-to-male transmission. So that is correct in the previous pedigree diagram. Sons can have the trait only if their mother also has the trait. So remember, the son can only have the trait if the mother is affected. Because, why? Because why? Because the mother will pass the X to the son, right? So probably this mother is not affected because the sons are not affected, okay? So the sons will only be affected, this one, if the mother has the trait. So that is true, okay? Same inheritance pattern as autosomal dominance, okay, the same, okay? So this one, what type of inheritance is this? It's very easy. You can see only the males are affected. Only the males are affected. Only the females 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 are affected. Only Very good, Dr. MJ. This is Y-link disorder. Okay, so remember, so there are two easy patterns of inheritance. That is the mitochondrial and the Y-link. For the Y-link, you can see that only the males are affected. Okay, the daughters, the females are not affected. So that's very easy. Okay? And for the mitochondrial inheritance, just check the mother and see if all the children are affected, then that is mitochondrial inheritance. The problem is sometimes you get confused with the lines. That's why I told you the basic, okay? So here, for example, here, so you don't look at this. You look only at the first generation. Wait. You see here? You see here? Okay. These two parents have 4 children. So don't look at this because these are just marriage, okay? Don't look at them. So look at the children directly connected to the line. These are the children. So they're all affected, okay? So this is mitochondrial inheritance. So look at the mother affected, and this is the children affected. The mother is affected, the children is affected. Okay, so don't look at this so you don't get confused, okay? So look at the squares and the circles that is directly connected to the line. Okay, so that is mitochondria. So those are the 2 types of easy inheritance. Why? And you should not make a mistake in the exam. Why? Y-link and the mitochondrial inheritance. Okay, so another easy, the next easy ones are the autosomal. So you only have to answer 2 questions. Equally affected, are there skip generation? So the recessive and the dominance inheritance are the same. So if there are no skip generation, just think of the autosomal and the X-linked dominant. If there are skip generation, then you have to think of the autosomal and the X-linked recessive. And there are additional rules for the X-linked. So you have to check if the mother is affected, okay? If the children is affected, the mother, if the male is affected, the mother should be affected, okay? If the father is affected, then the father passes it to the daughter and not to the son. So that means it's X-linked, okay? Because in the autosomal, it is equal distribution, okay? The father can pass to the sons and the daughters, okay? So you have, sorry, why is this not? Okay. So this is the summary, okay? Autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, equally affected. That means both male and female, not literally equal. There are no skip generation, and there is skip generation for recessive. For X-linked recessive and X-linked dominant, the same. There is no skip generation for X-linked dominant. For X-linked recessive, there is skip generation. Plus, in addition to that, the affected father passes to all her daughters, but not to his sons. And the affected mother passes to both her sons and daughter, but the sons are more affected for the recessive. Okay, and the easiest pattern is the mitochondrial and the Y-link. Okay, affected mother passes to all her children. Affected father passes to all her sons. Okay, so that's the end of our webinar. If you have any questions, you can ask it now regarding the course, regarding how to study, regarding patterns of inheritance. I'm open for questions, guys. I'll open my video. How did you see the webinar? Was it okay? Anyone? Questions? No questions? Dr. Shahnaz? Welcome, Dr. MJ. Dr. Shahnaz, are you enrolled in the course? Brainstorming topic. Recording will be available, yes. It's actually, we're already on live stream. So it's available in our Facebook page and available in our YouTube channel. Dr. Shahnaz, thank you for joining the course. Yes, you are in the course, so you will have the PDF and the recording of this. Thank you, Dr. Aisha. No problem, Dr. Sumaira. You can always go back to the recording. Thank you, Dr. Aishani. Okay, have a nice weekend. Do you have questions? No questions? We can call it a day. Those who were late, you can always go back. Yes, Doctor, welcome. Dr. Aishani, this is how we make the sessions in the course. We have to make it for you easier to grasp because pedigree analysis is very, very confusing, right? Thank you for the nice feedback. It was heartwarming. Okay, no more questions. Let's call it a day. Thank you for joining the webinar and thank you for giving me time on your weekend. Bye-bye. Welcome, Dr. Shima.